We're in the front cab of the ambulance. This is kind of where everything starts. Nothing will be powered unless you start the truck, which is intentional. So if you turn the truck off and you happen to accidentally leave something on, then you can not worry about having left something on, which will drain the batteries very quickly. So the first thing we're going to do is start the truck. When we start the truck, you'll notice that the leveling system powers up and the gauge panel here comes on. So we're going to go ahead and start the truck. Alright, truck is running and we are currently showing 14.1 volts, which is the optimal voltage is 14.2, and really you're going to operate within a range of when the truck's running, probably anywhere between 13 volts or higher up to 14.8. But 14.2 is the optimal. Really, you never reach optimal. What you have here with the switch panel is you have a primary master switch, or module power switch I call it, or as it's labeled right here. So again, when you turn this switch on, it enables all these other items to be operational. The only item that is operational without having turned a master switch on is the module power switch is the rear load light switch. Okay, and the reason why is because the rear load light switch operates in conjunction with the backup lights, which operate off the chassis. So anytime ignition is on, the rear load lights will be operational, so you have more lighting at the rear of the truck when you're backing up or when you have the rear doors open. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn all these emergency light or emergency operating switches on, and as you can see, they're not lit up, they're not operational right now, and we're going to turn module power on. Now when I turn module power on, you notice they're still not lit up. So what I would recommend is that you leave all these switches in the on position all the time. And then this has an onboard load manager, which is also a sequencer. So when you go into an emergency mode situation and you want to have all your emergency lights running, all you have to do is hit one switch, which is called the master switch. So you hit that master switch and it sequences these lights on. Alright, if I turn it off, it's going to sequence them off as well. So as it sequences them off, the purpose of that is so that you're turning loads off incrementally, which is better for an alternator. So right now, all the load manager switches that work through the master switch are operational, they're on, they've gone through their sequence, and again I'm going to turn them off, and as I turn them off, you're going to see that the right scene light, left scene light, rear auxiliary lights, front light bar, siren horn crossover switch, the primary secondary switch, all of those sequence off. So what do? The primary secondary switch operates all of the emergency lights on the outside of the truck, including, or I should say excluding, the light bars that are on the top of the cab. They operate off of a separate switch, and also excluding what we call the rear auxiliary lights, which are on the rear of the body in the mid-level position right here. It also operates what we call siren horn. So the siren horn, when this switch is off and you push the horn button on the steering column, it is going to act just like a regular chassis horn would. But when this is on, and when the siren is on, when I hit the horn button, it actually operates the siren. And depending on what mode I have it set on, and I would suggest that it's set on HF all the time. HF is hands-free. So you can hit this, and when you hit it, it will, each time you hit it, go through a different sound or tone each time you hit it. If you hit it twice real fast, it'll cut it off. So I don't want to operate that inside the building because it's at a very high decibel rate. So the leveling system is right here, and this leveling system is going to be used when you're using your CT scanner, you're parked on scene, and you've loaded the cot. So once you've loaded the cot, you're going to come up here and you're going to turn on the leveling system, and then you're going to hit auto level. And when you hit auto level, it's going to decide whether or not we're already level or not. And if we're not, it's going to start deploying the hydraulic jacks that are mounted underneath the body. There's 4 of them, and it will start to pick up the vehicle as it needs to in order to level the truck up so that the CT scanner can be in a level position during operation. So once this green foot here is a solid green foot, it is level. So you don't really have to sit here and monitor that. You just hit auto level, and then you can leave it and it'll do its thing. And so that's really all there is to the leveling system. We have indicator lights across here, one of them being for the CT scanner. So if the CT scanner is not stowed properly, then this indicator light will be flashing, and if you put it in gear, it'll be flashing and an alarm will go off. If the entry doors to the module are open, any one of them, then this one will be flashing, telling you that there's a door open. If there's an exterior compartment open, same thing. And then this indicator light here is just to tell you, hey, the air ride system is dumped. And of course, you don't want to drive the truck with the air ride system dumped. So in the event that for whatever reason the air ride system was down, it could be that you left a door open or that there's a failure in the system. But either way, that's rare. But in the event that it happens, this indicator light here is to let you know there's a problem. So all of these lights here that are not on right now because there's not any problems, but if any of them were on, it's to tell you you need to do something before you take off. This switch here, same thing with the other switches on the truck for the generator. You would hold this switch down until that light comes on the switch, and then once it comes on, you'll hold it until it comes on steady. And so now the generator is on and running. Again, this is the intercom, the volume control for it, and then the push to talk, so that if you need to say something to someone in the rear, you can do that by just hitting that push to talk button and saying whatever you need to say, and then they would do the same by the other side. Up here, everything on the dash is chassis controlled, and it really has nothing to do with anything that would be part of the ambulance conversion, but you have your air conditioner controls. So this is your fan speed. This button here turns on the max cool, which I imagine you guys will use a lot of. And then whenever you get ready to put this thing into a driving condition, you will have to release the park brake. So you put your foot on the brake, you put it in gear. When you put it in gear, if you notice, it says the air ride's down. Okay, now I'm trying to drive away and it says, hey, my air ride system is down, and I do know the rear doors are open, but I still am not going to be able to take off until I release the park brake, which is an air actuated park brake. And this is it right here. So you push that in, and when you push that in, now you're going to be able to drive away.